And we welcome you into the Spotlight presented by Alathus Life. Thanks so much for carving out a little bit of your afternoon to join us here today. If you are interested in buying or selling your home, give us a call, 479-968-5668. You can cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. We are kicking off Downtown Week here on the Spotlight, and our first guests are the guests of honor. I like to call them the creative power couple of downtown. They are superstars in their own right. Welcome in Amber Roberts and Justen Roberts, folks.
Hi.
Thank you.
I've known you guys for a long time. Amber, I've known you a long time.
Yeah, long.
But watching this kind of flourish in downtown and watching your businesses grow has been really exciting for me and really exciting for the folks who are in Russellville. Just kind of walk me through how this started for both of you. And Justen, we'll start with you.
Oh man, I've always kind of been interested in art and music. Sometimes it was one outlet or the other. You know, I grew up playing music and playing in bands and stuff. So that was my creative outlet for a while. But I realized that I was always the one, you know, designing the shirts and making the flyers and, you know, just drawing stuff, doodling stuff all the time. So once I started taking an interest in it, it just man, it's just become a huge passion of mine. I, you know, happened to get licensed in a different town, and then as soon as I was able to, I moved back because this is my hometown and care about the community, and just wanted to move back here where I could tattoo friends and family and build a clientele.
And how has that gone so far?
Great.
It's gone so great, in fact, that we're in a pause mode right now, right?
Yeah. I just had a couple of days ago. I had to pause booking just temporarily. I just kind of been overwhelmed with the support and the requests. It's awesome, but I just want to make sure that I can streamline the process and kind of offer everybody the same client experience. You know, because that's mostly what this business is based on is client experience. I offer an elevated experience in a private studio, much different than anything else offered in town. So being able to curate that is top priority. And with too many outlets, too many ways to get a hold of me, I just had too many requests every day coming in,
Right.
and I couldn't keep them all organized. So I just had to pause it momentarily, probably open it back up in a couple weeks, and then we'll just streamline it, be doing email only, just so I can give everybody, like I said, the same consistent experience.
And it's amazing to me that the pause button is actually a sign of growth. It's actually a sign of something
Right.
good. You
I
are
was very nervous
so
to do
busy
it, but
that you
also,
can't,
I didn't realize that.
And I am putting myself on that waiting list
For sure.
for when you're opened back up.
For sure.
I've got 2, I need 5. So it's
There we go.
time to go. Amber,
Yeah.
let's pivot to you because we're going to talk about the Arkansas Times Best of the Best for both of you in just a moment. That's something you won last year. Photography has been a passion for a while, so let's hear your origin story of sorts.
My origin story. I never thought I was a creative person growing up. I was just like a smart girl. I mean, you went to school with me. We went
Right.
to school
We
together.
went to high school together, yeah.
And I was not, in art class or anything like that. I was like in the AP classes, and I worked for Steve Newby for a long time, who has been a huge pillar in this community forever. And I was his editor and like his studio person. And I started shooting just kind of on my own because I liked editing. It was fun, and for a while I was like, well, I'm not really creative. I'll just do this for fun. And then it started being more and more fun, and it started being more and more something I enjoyed doing. And it's like I tapped into a part of me that I didn't know existed. I was like, I'm
Right.
smart. I'm not creative. And now it's like we get to do, these huge painterly sessions and these big conceptual things. And I've got really cool projects coming up that I would have never dreamed in high school, that
Right.
honor roll Amber would have been doing anything remotely that creative.
Well, and let's talk about that creative process too, because once you've tapped into that a little bit, I think it's hard for people to understand if you don't have that creative outlet. Mine is music, mine is video, clearly. If you haven't really tapped into that, it's hard to really explain where that comes from. Where does it come from for you?
I mean, I think that really it's just all sorts of art forms. I'm really big into painting, so like anything by the masters I really enjoy, just how they play with light and color and composition. I love drag as an art. I think that drag is an incredible fashion forward art that people don't pay attention to as much as they should. Older movies right now, we've been watching some Southern Gothic
Mm-hmm.
themed movies for creativity. You know, it really just kind of comes from all over. Walking in nature. I mean, anything.
Let's pivot to you, Justin. I want to ask you the same question. That whole process, I think tattooing for a long time was almost stigmatic in the community in the area.
For
It's
sure.
become more widely accepted now. So, as an art form, how does your process work? I mean, what do you see, and how does it get from where it is to where it goes?
It varies almost on an individual basis, but generally speaking, as far as inspiration, it can come from, like she said, almost anywhere. Um, I do look at a lot of tattoos, and I'll see, like just this last weekend, I saw a tattoo. I'd never tattooed in that style. I was like, oh, that's cool. I would do this if I did that. So I spent a whole day drawing stuff. I'm gonna force my little assistant to let me tattoo one on him. Just trying new stuff
Right.
like that. It's fun to be able to do that. But I mean, nature, history, art. History is a big influence.
Yeah.
I was never much of a history buff at all. Like I thought it was boring in high school
Sure.
because I was like, it already happened. Why do I care?
Exactly.
But the more I got into tattooing, the more I got into the history of tattooing, and then that brought me back around to the history of Russellville, which I think is really cool, and it's just a very, very colorful history. But I mean, as far as like you were talking about the stigmas and the negative connotations of tattoos have just changed so much over the years, and it's interesting to know that history. Before the World War II, before any of the big wars, there were, only like criminals and biker gangs had tattoos. Well, when they started drafting people and then sending them to war, and they had they start collecting tattoos in different countries. They're on a boat. They can't bring souvenirs back.
Sure.
They got to get stuff like that, and then that just like raised the perception in society. Now your war heroes are wearing tattoos. So it made it a little bit more acceptable. And then as time has gone on, I'm tattooing like 60, 70-year-olds and stuff. 16 to 70, 80. It's wild. Just a lot more accepted.
It's fascinating to me too that when you guys are talking here, just listening to your conversation here, there's clearly passion. There's clearly passion for what you
Absolutely.
do. But I would also caution anybody using the word lucky, because luck has very little to do with it. It's very much about skill. When talking about taking your passion to a business model, what was that struggle like? And Amber, we'll go with you first.
I mean, I think that the big misconception with any creative business is you look at that person doing that and you're like, oh, that looks fun. You just get to take pictures all day. And it's like such a small fraction of what the actual business is. If you want to do something like that, if you want to be creative, you have to learn marketing. You have to learn the technical aspects of your website. You have to learn organization and sales and all these different things that go along with it, especially if you're in a commission-based like we are. We don't necessarily make art and then sell it. Our art is made because a client came to us and said, make this art, make me art, or make this art.
Right.
And I think that, we had a lot of help, luckily, going into it. And when he started his business, I had been in mine for a bit, so I kind of knew what to get into.
Kind of
But
traded off.
yeah.
I'll build my business, you work hard, then you build your business.
Yeah.
I'll work hard.
Right.
But it's a lot. I mean, you sacrifice a lot of time, and you try to take on as much as you can yourself, and it's not all the fun parts people think it is. They're like, oh, you just get to take pictures all day, and I'm like, no, that's like maybe 12 hours a week, and then the rest of it is sitting in front of a computer for the
It's a
most
lot of-
part.
Yeah. What's
Managing time and energy.
what was the biggest struggle starting out?
I think just self-doubt, knowing that what I do is something that's a really saturated market. It's a ton of photographers out there, new photographers every day. Everyone has, different points of view, both the way that they approach clients and the way that they approach what their actual photos look like. And you go into it doing something like that and you think, oh my gosh, like there's no way anyone's going to give me money when they could give anybody else money.
Right.
But I think when you start to sit down and realize, like, okay, I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to be for everyone, but the right people are really going to like me, and I'm going to be the right person for them. And I think that you really have to get past that self-doubt, thinking that it's something that you can't do. And, just because there's a billion other people out there doing it doesn't mean you can't do it too.
I would think the same struggle applies to you too. I mean, because the tattoo market seems to be very saturated. That everybody has a tattoo person. Like, who's your guy?
Yes.
Who's your person?
Absolutely.
How do you differentiate yourself?
Honestly, it doesn't even like, I know I do, but it doesn't even seem that hard because I just like, I don't know, the way I've built my shop, the way it looks, that's what tattoo shops look like from California to New York, you know? Just not in this town. I'm not
Sure.
sure why, but I just, you know,
Right.
that's the space I wanted to be tattooed in. A private space where you lock the door, pull the curtain, music playing, candles going, chill environment, and then there's nobody, you know, kicking tires or window shopping. Hey man, will you do this for cheaper than anybody else in town? Like, no, you know, go to the website, sign up, go through the process properly. You know, I mean, you can fight for the cheapest tattoo in town if you want, but I'm just trying to offer something special. So if you want to come to me, then you'll go through the proper channels and wait.
Right,
And
right,
get
exactly.
a really awesome experience. 'Cause
Yeah.
everybody's been super pleased so
Really
far.
great.
I had a conversation with Rob McCormick and Ryan Harmon over the last few weeks, and as musicians, they very much relate to the creative arts aspect of trying to run a business. Is it hard to separate the two sometimes, from wanting to be creative to actually having to do the administrative part?
I think that goes back to just managing your time and energy. Like if I don't feel like answering messages right then, I'm not going to do it because I'm probably not going to be in a good mood. You know?
Right, exactly.
I want to
Yeah.
come across, you know, positive
Sure.
and happy and uplifting because that's how I generally am. But everybody doesn't feel like talking to everybody all the time, you know.
Sure.
So it's just really, I think it's setting those boundaries and finding that balance, which
Yeah.
I'm definitely still doing. Obviously, with the having to pause momentarily, but you know, that's part of learning, part of, you know, starting your own business and learning how to run it and learning what's best for it. And everybody's been super cool, understanding that, knowing that I'm, you know, getting used to it. And I don't know, I do good tattoos, so everybody's, you know, pretty patient with the rest of it.
I think most people get that you're a person, you know, beyond
Right.
being a business. Like, I'm a person that's running that business, and that person gets tired, and that person has a life outside of business. And, you know, when you set those boundaries, you stick to those boundaries, and it takes a while to get there. But once you're there, people understand it, and they're usually respectful of it. And if they're not, they're probably not a person that you want to work with anyway. So.
Right. We were talking to Justen and Amber Roberts. They are downtown superstars here in Russellville. If you are interested in buying or selling your home, you can give us a call. We're right here downtown too, 479-968-5668, or you can cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. Guys, your success is speaking for yourself right now, or speaking for itself. Arkansas Times, we are finalists, both of you, for Best of the Best in the entire state of Arkansas. Amber, you actually won that last year. Justen, you're a finalist again this year. Walk me through this process, because, you know, I'm interested in the dynamic of the fact that, okay, you're both finalists, you're both being recognized as as best in the state at what you do, and then you also have a life at home where you have to try to separate that.
Right.
How does that work?
I don't know that we do separate it, because we really do love what we do.
Yeah.
And we're very supportive of each other. So, you know, when he comes home from a tattoo, I want to see the tattoo he did. I want to hear about his experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I have a client that I have permission to share photos, I want to show him, hey, look at this really cool thing we did. Or, you know, it's we used to work together at a Sears. I don't know if you know this, but
Okay, let's hear this story.
when we lived in Benton for a couple of years, he had a family member that owned a Sears, and we actually worked as manager and assistant manager side by side, 65
2
hours
key
a
holders.
week. The only 2 key holders, so we had 2 days off a year together. It was Easter and Christmas. We were there every other day, and because of how well we worked together there, that's actually why we decided to get married. We weren't planning on it.
Yeah, we didn't know about it, and then we were like, if we can do this, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Most people were like, don't run a store together. This breaks up like
Yeah.
80% of relationships.
I actually said
Like,
no at
that
first.
statistic.
I said I don't want to do that. And then we just really, you know, we were on
needed
each other's
help,
team,
and,
and
yeah, she
if
was
there
like,
was
"I'll do
somebody
this."
that was, you know, maybe really bothering me, he'd step in and take care of him. We always knew, you know, if someone came in, oh, this manager said this, like, no, they didn't, and I know that. But it,
Kind of share a brain.
yeah, I
Right.
think that experience really kind of prepared us both to sort of run our own businesses together, because we're really good at not, well, separating it, but not separating it. You know, it's not all work all the time. We enjoy each other's company. We do fun things all the time, but you know, we enjoy what we do, and we support each other, and it's nice to have that.
Right, right.
Justen, let's talk about Arkansas Times. You are a finalist for Best Tattoo Artist in the state. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think best tattoos.
Best
in the state
tattoos.
is what the category is. But
Walk me through this. I mean, Is it an ego boost? Is it humbling? Where do you land on the spectrum here?
All over.
Right.
Because at first it was super, super humbling. I was like, is this a mistake? Like,
Right.
did you email the right person?
Right.
I was like, is this fake? I'm like looking for like the yeah, it was real, because she got back to me, and I mean it is super flattering, honestly. Like I think Amber had to explain it to me. I've been tattooing for like 7 years, like 4 or 5 in the River Valley, but this is the first shop where people could vote for it and say that means you know, because I've worked at other people's shops, and that may have been the big thing. Maybe it was just the fact that I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how it happened, but I'm super pumped and super flattered. Like barely 6 months in, and being nominated next to shops that have been established for 20, 25 years. Like
Great
that's
shops.
wild. Yeah. Really good. Like the other 4 shops are all amazing shops. But it would be cool to have a shop from Russellville win it. So that's why I'm telling people to get out and vote. Bring the title to Russellville.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be super cool.
And it would be nice to go ahead and have a repeat champion and bring this home twice.
I would love
Have
that.
it. I mean, by the way, voting ends on July the 5th. So, folks, if you have not yet voted, go to, I believe it's ArkansasTimes.com. Can you find it from there, from the Arkansas Times, or?
Yeah, I think the direct link is like vote.arctimes.com,
There it is.
but there are links all over, and if you just Google that or go to one of our websites or Emily's at Dog Ear, you'll find it.
And we'll be talking to Emily about that later on this week. The fact that we've got 3 Russellville downtown businesses as being the best in the state, that's
Pretty awesome.
huge. And
Pretty awesome.
and Amber, I want to talk to you a little bit about this too, because this is the 2nd year in a row now, right? Or is this the 3rd time you were nominated?
This is the 2nd year I was nominated.
Okay, and last year you won.
I did. I won. I blame it on everyone being distracted with COVID. It is it is a people's choice situation. So it's all your nominations and your voting. It's not some board of people saying this is who we think is going to win. It's really just whoever gets the most people out there that want to support them. And you can vote every day. So I had people last year voting every day for me and sharing every day to vote. And, you know, I have a great Facebook group, the Gems, Amber's Gems, which is like my private Facebook group. And they're just an incredible group of women, and they're super supportive, and they're reminding each other to vote all the time. So it'd be really nice to show it wasn't a fluke. It'd be really nice to show that, you know, we deserve that title. It's not just me, it's my whole team. And, you know, we're not just doing photos. It's a big deal, and we really change the way that people see themselves. And so I do think that it's worth that title to show that, you know, we're really doing something special.
Coming up a little bit later this week on the Spotlight, don't miss it, Emily Young is going to be with us, as well as Main Street Russellville Director Danielle Hausnick. We are talking all things downtown and kicking off Downtown Week with Amber and Justen Roberts right now. Let's go behind the business. Let's go into the couple dynamic here, because the two of you fascinate me. It was just like you're perfect for one another. How did this start?
MySpace?
Yeah.
Old school. For the kids watching, MySpace was like TikTok 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Yeah. No, really, Justin hit on me on MySpace when we were 17 or 18.
Yeah.
And he was in a really cool band, so I thought he was
I
just like...
dropped my band.
I thought he was just joking. I was like, oh, this guy's making fun of me. He doesn't really think I'm cute. So I turned him down.
She knew a friend. And I was like, okay, my friend has played with he was in another band, and I was like, okay, so she knows him, she knows my band then maybe. Name dropped it, and she shut me down.
Very quickly.
Ooh.
Shut me down.
But we had the same circle of friends, and, you know, we both went to, it was back when the music scene was really big and flourishing here, and we went to a lot of shows together and just hung out with the same people, and, you know.
Just kind of became friends.
Yeah, gradually became really good friends, and then dating just sort of happened, and then that was 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It just sort of happened.
So it just occurred.
Yeah.
Just kind of it's natural.
Exactly.
I'm interested because you picked up on something that we were talking with Rob about a couple of weeks ago, is that music scene from back in that time, back when we were 17 and 18 and Higher Grounds was still around. And of course downtown, I'm missing the name. What's the name of the venue downtown right now? I'm missing the name.
The Cavern.
Thank you, the Cavern.
I
wanted to call it the Thunderdome, but I don't know why I was going there.
That was the Thurberdome.
The
I think
Thurberdome,
used to be what
yeah.
it's called because of the owners. There
Right.
used to be the Legion Hut downtown, and
Shoot, we just set up an alleys,
Yeah, I was gonna
man.
say just shows in the alleys and
There was
Just
the
run
little place in
generator.
Atkins
the Godby.
right there for a little
Yeah.
bit. That was crazy. I mean,
We both lived in different places. The Fort Delicious. I don't know if you ever went to that one. That was more of a punk rock kind
once
of rowdy.
I did. I went once, but if you remember, that was not particularly my scene back
we
then.
actually both lived there at separate times. If that tells you how much we've calmed down.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That was.
It
These
was
are very.
rowdy.
These are very inside Russellville
It
conversations.
was
People
very
from back
rowdy.
This
then.
might be boring.
Yeah. Well, but
Music
let's.
scene, though, you know.
Well, but that's what I wanted to go back to, is because there was, and I still believe is a flourishing art, music, culture in this area
Yeah.
that I think is starting to kind of come back up to the surface. But talk about that, because within even our circles, there are a ton of
Yeah.
talented people.
I think a lot of the reason that you don't see it so much in person these days is because the option to put things out on the internet and social media and share things so instantaneously with like a huge audience, that wasn't what we had.
Right.
You know, it's like if I wanted somebody to see my photos, they had to come to something where my photos were printed. If you wanted to hear a band, you couldn't really look them up on Spotify and stream them, you
You
know.
could put 2 or 3 songs on MySpace, but it would like compress them so hard.
Yeah.
You couldn't hear it.
So you
right.
want to go to a live show to see somebody.
Yeah.
But now these days there's SoundCloud and things like that.
But
where,
I
like,
think that people
half my
are-
clients are making music and putting it out without
Yeah.
telling anybody, you know.
But I
So-
think people are getting back around to wanting that community feel and wanting to try to put things together in an in-person way. I think especially after COVID, when we all really realized how much we took that for granted, being
Right.
able to be with each other, you know. So I think that it's going to come back around. I think it's something that's just kind of cyclical.
I think being in a band is starting to get cool again. Travis
Yeah.
Barker's making all these rappers play punk rock. We're almost there.
It depends. It depends on who you are,
Mm-hmm.
if it's cool to be in a band again. All right. As a bonus dad, you have very much the stigma of being in the bonus dad band. So we have to watch. We have to watch that marketing on that. So just a heads up, if that's for any of you aspiring musicians out there. We're talking to Amber and Justen Roberts here on the Spotlight. If you are interested in buying or selling your home, do it through Alathus. Give us a call, 479-968-5668, or cruise on over to RussellvilleLiving.com. Let's talk about Russellville downtown. Our studio is located just we're still downtown, but just like kinda, and right across from the Garage Arcade. And then you've got the Garage Arcade. We've got Smoky Road Tattoo. We've got Amber Lane Studios. We've got Dog Ear Books. We've got Retro Roasts. The place seems to really be coming back, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Talk about the importance of that on your individual businesses and just as a community.
Man, it's awesome to see. Just since we moved back a few years ago, it's been wild, the changes that we've seen downtown, from renovation to just new businesses coming and flourishing. There's been a huge effort on like Russellville downtown's part to partner with tech and to get some of the younger kids downtown to hang out, rather than just, I don't know, what do college kids do? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a while. What do they do?
We went to shows.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just been awesome to see it kind of grow
Yeah.
and flourish, and we've definitely both reaped the benefits of that, you know, working downtown for the past several years.
Even our building alone, which was, you know, there was practically inhabitable. And then Jimmy Street, of course, who was like, you know, the angel of downtown. And
Yes.
comes in and fixes everything all the time. He's who owns the building that we both work out of because our offices are in the same building. In our building alone, we've got 2 photographers, we've got a barber shop, we've got a jewelry maker, we've got a tattoo shop. And that's just one little building. It's like there's so many different places that, you know, people are putting work into to invite more and more people to come down here. And it's such an awesome community. It's like built in, you know, there's not a lot of other places that you can go and start a business and you're automatically, there's tons of neighbors who are all trying to do things with you, like whether you want to or not.
Right, you're going
but,
to
you
do
you
this.
want to, you know, because it's fun and it's cool to be a part of that and have that built in because it's not really anywhere else around here.
Where do you go from here? What's the next step for both of you?
Time will tell, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to manage and grow, you know.
I think we're both pretty happy
Yeah.
and content with where we are right now, and so it's just kind of waiting to see what opportunity presents itself
Yep.
next.
We've both got stuff in the works,
Yeah.
kind of. So
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Anything that you folks want the people who watch to know? Just your last parting comment. other than the fact that you're going to be back in just a
I was
couple of
about to say,
weeks
get
and get
some
on
cool
that, get
tattoos.
on the
Yeah.
list, people.
Go to the website, visit smokyrowtattoo.com, and sign up for our email list. And I'll be announcing when we open up bookings again.
And please vote for us.
Vote for us, please.
Yes,
Please,
Arkansas
you can
Times.
vote
Awesome.
once a day. It's seriously, it's like a 4-thing registration. It takes like 30
Like
seconds.
name, email.
Your phone's gonna autofill it. Just,
Right.
just go vote for us. It takes no time, and it really makes a huge difference as far as people being able to see our businesses. I mean, people come from all over to see what we do and work with us, you know, Central Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, beyond that. And when they're doing that, they're coming to our town and they're coming to our downtown. They're seeing our coffee shops and our bookstores and our cool places, you know. So voting for us is for the whole community. It's not just for us.
Outstanding. And voting, of course, closes on July the 5th. So be sure to do that. Get those votes in for Smoky Row and for Amber Lane Photography. Y'all, I have been wanting you on the show forever. I'm so glad you guys came on today.
Thanks
Thank
so
you
much
so
for having
much.
us.
Thanks for having us.
We got to do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, outstanding. All right, coming up later this week, Emily Young from Dog Ear Books, Retro Roasts, and the other parts of her empire that she has downtown. She'll be with us a little bit later on this week. And then, of course, Danielle Halzak, Executive Director of Main Street Russellville, stops by. We're talking about downtown at sundown, making its big return next month. And then, of course, all the big happenings downtown. So be sure to tune in for that. For now, my name is Drew Brent. Thanks so much for joining us here on The Spotlight. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.